So do you really believe it's possible that someday there might not be anything called Facebook.com?
I think it's certainly possible, yeah.
I mean, the way I talk about it is people say, what is Facebook going to be in 10 years? And I say, well, the way you guys think of yourselves is as an identity registry and also as a hub for communication. Because now you have an API for putting content into Facebook, which is Connect, and you have an API for taking content out of Facebook, which is now what you call the Stream API, and I guess you're going to put a much bigger version of that out after April, where they have another F8 coming, and the word on the street is that is going to be a major shift in that whole universe of Facebook, of taking things around the web using your Facebook capabilities. So it's true that, but this brings up a really key issue about Facebook, which is fascinating and certainly has been a vexing issue for a lot of the users of Facebook, which is that you guys change what you do so damn much that your members sometimes can't keep up with you, and you have these constant sort of revolts when you're doing things that seem to you to be just the next evolution of what you always wanted to do, and yet to them it seems like you're changing into something they don't like. How do you deal with that? And is that a problem, or is that just a necessary part of being Facebook?
Well, I think it's a challenge. I mean, I think anyone who's worked on a consumer product has seen that change is hard for everyone. You know, even when change is unambiguously positive, you know, and the data shows it, and you can show that this is a positive change. I think it takes a readjustment. But you know, and I'll credit Mark Zuckerberg with a lot of the feeling on this. There's the constant feeling that in order to be competitive in the market and achieve what we want to do, we have to be constantly innovating. And especially in consumer markets where patterns in the world change, opinions change, sentiments change, you want to make sure your products are tracking the market as closely and as quickly as possible. And the only way we know how to do that is to be out there and trying things. I can't tell you how many times we've had a discussion on a whiteboard and someone who's extraordinarily smart was convinced that they were right and they understood how people were going to use the product, and you stick it out there in the market and it was just dead wrong. And so I think you need to think about how quickly you can get your product out there, see what real people do with it, and then adjust based on that feedback. So every time we've released something, we've usually had something that was right about it and a general thought that was right, and then a bunch of new things we learned as real people started to use it. And then the thing that I don't think people realize is we look very carefully at the data of how people use our products. So yes, and we do listen when people complain, and it's, you know, we don't like to make people upset. But you listen to what they're saying, and then you watch what they're doing. And then you kind of put those two together, and you realize, all right, we need to tweak it in this direction. And if you look, you know, through the history of almost every redesign in the site, it started with frustration and confusion, and then resulted in, because of the change, and then resulted in usually a huge increase in usage and behavior and happiness. I mean, we've gone through a number of changes in the 18 months that I've been there, and we've seen the largest growth spurt Facebook's ever seen. You know, my second day of work, we had 100 million active users. We're now well over 350 million active users, and that's in 18 months.
More than 1 billion users of mobile phones already have the opportunity to access the internet, and this number will grow to 4 billion within the next few years. New technologies are changing the way we use the net. Intelligent devices, clothes, fridges, machines, and factories are connected and interact automatically without direct human involvement. This will revolutionize the consumer market as the internet becomes the fundamental economic instrument. Consumers will depend entirely upon network services, and businesses will depend entirely upon the future internet to provide these services. But since the current internet consists of mostly unstructured data and resources, most of the data and resources are unusable for the average user. Fact is, the internet is broken. We still have not one web, but a vast variety of different, unlinked data that is unable to communicate. That's why future internet will have to change, and change it will.
For the new internet to be usable, we have to be able to delegate tasks to machines. The key problem here is how do we share meaning across the globe? When my machine on one side of the globe says the term bank, how does a machine on the other side of the globe understand that it means a financial institution and not the side of a river? Unless we integrate semantic technologies into the future internet, it will not be usable.
We are currently rethinking the web on various levels. We are preparing for a web of things. All electronic devices will be active participants in the future internet.
The Internet of Things is a very important part of the future internet. In the Internet of Things, we have a lot of real-world objects like cars and machines and things in the supply chain, which will be monitored directly. The things that we have, they are connected through services to the business systems, to the business operations, in order to provide, for example, higher visibility, thereby leading to improvements in business operations, for example, in manufacturing. And we believe that this will significantly shape the future of the Internet.
Content of things and content of people. User-generated content will grow significantly and will be a driving force in future Internet. Collaborative business models and social network application tools will make the future Internet run with fewer barriers than we face today. Semantic technologies will support these tools. Everything and everybody will be connected. The future Internet will also reorganize publicity, privacy, and anonymity, where everybody can understand how much trust can and should be extended to others. Everything, everywhere, always. We must imagine future Internet as a service. Mobile, ubiquitous, and pervasive, 24/7 availability will be the norm. To sustain the demands of the future Internet, networks must be re-engineered. We need new networks which integrate all kinds of devices and which allow the most auspicious vision of future Internet. The Internet of Services will bring an enormous increase in the efficiency of economic processes. Business processes are unified in services that can be used by different groups of people, within a company or enterprise, or externally via the Internet of Services. Soon, redundantly providing the same information again and again will no longer be necessary. Semantics will provide secure and efficient access to a coordinated set of services that are not location-dependent, are interoperable, coherent, consistent, scalable, pervasive, and reliable. These services will be networked together through the future Internet.
The digital information revolution is upon us. It will be built around an Internet of Services, which will depend on an Internet mobile as well as an Internet of Things. Tomorrow, every carton of milk will be on the Internet. See you on the net.